Hey everybody, it's Mario. So another update. I just spent the last 45 minutes with the town engineer, the superintendent of DPW, and at some point the ground supervisor from the Board of Ed stopped by to join the chat. So the engineer and the super was already in the back when they called me and said they were here, and I looked down and they were taking a look at the school's property, which I mentioned in my last video. The school laid, I would say, a 4-inch base of gravel to try and cover up the water, because that solves everything. Let's not fix the problem. Let's not fix the root cause. Let's just cover it up. That's government work for you right there. That's the solution to everything. We're not going to fix it. Let's just bury it and see what happens. So, yeah. Nice guys though. I will say this. They're not trying to bend me over and blow smoke up my tuchus, but I'm getting the pretty standard answer I was expecting. The engineer was stumped. He had a copy of the area topography map, so it shows basically the topography of the land. So anybody who doesn't know what that is, it basically shows elevations of the ground, so they can see where low points, high points, valleys, all that stuff. But you don't have to be a civil engineer to see that where the school is higher than my property. So, obviously water runs down. He's stumped. He honestly has no idea. The conversation circled back to the storm drain, and I pointed out where I was seeing petroleum, and he's like, well, it might not necessarily be petroleum. And I was going to open my mouth and say, yes, it is, because no other liquid does that. And if it does, it's a chemical that's bad. No matter what you want to dance around to what it is it's not a natural substance. It's a chemical. Petroleum has a rainbow colored effect. It's shiny and it floats because it has a different specific gravity. And this is what I was going to say, and then I'm like, I should keep my mouth shut, but explain that petroleum products and water have different specific gravities, which is why they separate, and one floats and the other doesn't. Which is why anybody who cooks knows, you pour vinegar and oil and they separate. You have to put something in it to force them to mix together. I'm not making dressing in my backyard though, so that's not going to work. And then the super called out the guys who ran the camera through the storm drain, and we walked the length of the property, and they showed them where the other access point was, and he asked them again while I was standing there for effect. You guys saw water's draining. Yes, it wasn't blocked. No, everything's open. Okay, because that's their responsibility. So he was basically reinforcing that they made sure what they are responsible for isn't broken. And I said, I understand that. And then my neighbor from a couple houses down came out, and he's like, yeah, it's getting worse behind me. So they understand. We all see this. We all know what the problem is. Nobody can answer what the cause of the problem is, and I get that. That's fine. But I put a call into the Union County Engineering Department because, as I mentioned in my other videos, there's a pond at basically the end of my street. There's a county pond that they did work on about 1.5 years ago. and they did something major because there was large diameter pipes piled up next to the field, next to the pond. They had dredging equipment, so we don't know exactly what they did, but they did some major work over there. So now the theory, my theory, to be fair to everybody, my theory is whatever they did changed the way, either they changed the way water drains, if they changed the drainage system somehow, and now it's not allowing water to drain properly, or they changed the water table. If they change the water table and the water on the pond side is even slightly higher, groundwater, even normal groundwater, which would just naturally seep down towards the pond to naturally drain, can no longer do that because the water on the end is slightly higher, and now the water can't flow the way it used to, so now it's backing up along our properties. So I have to wait till tomorrow because, of course, this is government work and everybody's on vacation because it's nice out. So let's burn all our vacation days. So this guy comes back tomorrow, and he's going to call me, and I'm going to speak to him on the phone, and I'm going to tell him he needs to come out here. Like, it's, we can have this conversation on the phone. I'm more than happy to, but you need to come down here, and I'm going to walk you all through, and I'm going to tell him, bring some, if you got waders, bring them. If you don't, bring some boots, because I want you to walk through this so you understand what I'm talking about. Just saying, oh, I see it. No, walk it with me. You need to understand, when you're standing in 2 feet of water, the seriousness of the problem and how it's affecting me and my property, because it's affecting everybody. Of course, I'm why not? I'm getting it the worst, but it does affect everybody else in some shape or form. Some people a little less than others. I have, as I mentioned, I have small children. I have a playground. I have a pool at the back of my property where this water is seeping under my fence into my backyard. My kids can't play on my playground. Very expensive playground. They can't play on it, and they want to, but they can't. It's a muddy, hot mess back there, and it still smells a little bit. I'm doing my best. I'm spending all of my days off, back there pumping and trying to move stuff, and it's not working. I'm trying, but so that's kind of where we're at. So again, the towns, the engineer said, he goes, I think, a quicker fix would be to add storm grate, basically basins, the above ground grates in the ground connects to the storm system to collect them, place them in the low points along the property lines so it catches all of the surface water. Because if you can get the surface water off, it allows more to come up. It'll keep draining, and the ground will eventually start to dry out because you're pulling all the water away. My plan to, as I mentioned, put in French drainage is on hold until I make sure there's no one else that could possibly pay for what needs to be done. Because I really don't want to do it. But I'm probably going to have to. It's going to be labor intensive. Won't be super, super expensive, but it's probably going to cost me conservatively $1,000 between renting equipment, renting all the piping and everything I'm going to need. I'll probably be saving myself $5,000 or $6,000 on labor by doing it myself, but I'm trying to avoid that, but that may be where we head with this. And I don't, I'm confident it will solve my problem. It might help some of the other problems, but I'm really not worried about everybody else. So if people are okay with, small ponds in the back of their property, that's fine. But if I have to start building walls to stop their water from leaking into my property, because I am not going to be paying for everyone else's property to drain the water off their property, because it's going to be an expense for me, because I'm going to be running a sump pump constantly, and I'm generous. I'm not that generous, but the reason I'm stalling doing this work is because I'm afraid that I'm going to do it, and then at some point someone's going to turn around and say, "Oh, okay, we're gonna put drains in, and they're going to dig up the ground right where I put all this pipe in, so it's going to negate all the work I did, and probably partially some of the expense." But if they did that, then I would say, if you dig up my pipe, you put my pipe back when you're done. Like, that's how this works. Like, you can pull it out of the ground, but you better dig and put it right back where you found it in the same condition you found it, because it's mine. So that's where we're at. The government two-step, as we're going to start calling it. And they were, the town guys were like, "Hey, if the county wants to take, we're more than happy." I said, "I bet you are." I said, "At the end of the day, this all comes down to money. Let's be realistic. Everything comes down to money. It's all about who's going to pay for what needs to be done. And we all know what needs to be done is not cheap. Town doesn't want it. Not that they don't want to do it. They understand. But if, again, they pull the, well, if we do it for you, then we got to do it for everybody else. I don't care about everybody else. You care about everybody else because you work for the town. Your phone number is the one that's listed. So that's their position on it. My position is I don't really care about everybody else. I really care about me and my property. And I'm dealing with the worst of it from everybody. So that's why I'm the most vocal. If it was somebody else, I'm sure they would be just as vocal as I am. And they're the sound engineer made a statement. "Oh, well, they're going to ask us, historically, has this been going on?" And he's going to tell them, "Well, no, it's, we just started." And my response to that was, well, all history started at some point. All of it started somewhere at a single moment. I said, so this is just, we're witnessing history happening right now. Because I'm not waiting years for them to see if this goes on constantly. That's unacceptable. So, and I'm not waiting till the winter for them to say, "Oh, look, there's still water here," and it's, no, I'm not waiting for the winter either. So, I think within the next month or two, tops, there will be something done. It's almost the middle of June. I figure probably by the end of June is where I'll have to make a decision one way or the other, unless they give me, they lead me to believe, or they make the statement to me that somebody is going to do something, then I'm going to hold off. But if by the end of June nobody has made statements that they're going to try and fix this, then I'm going to make the decision to do what I originally planned to do. But then, of course, I have some vacation scheduled for the beginning of July, around the 4th. I'll be away for a week, so I won't be starting anything anytime soon. Realistically, it'll be after school ends, so I don't have to worry about kids on the playground and all that. And so probably more towards the middle of July, towards the end of July, when it's the hottest, because that'll be fun. Me, outside trying to dig through 2 inches of mud to lay pipe. That's going to be great. But if it comes to that, I'll make a video tomorrow after I speak with the town or the county engineer guy, just to let you know what's going on. But I can kind of see where this is heading. So looks like you guys will wind up getting some videos of me trying not to sink a mini excavator. That's going to be fun to watch. But I think that's where we're headed. So I'll make another video with another update. Lots of updates after my call with the county tomorrow, and let you know where we're headed. All right, guys? Feel free to subscribe. Like I said, there'll be lots more videos coming up, some DIY stuff. I believe as I mentioned in another video that I did about my garage, we got the wall control stuff should be delivered today. Probably going to be installing that tomorrow, so it'll be video for that too. Fun. All right, guys, take care. Talk to you soon.